um, we had planned to do this podcast a week, 2 weeks ago, on this day because of the holidays and a variety of other things. We felt to just push it off and talk about this stuff then. Uh, we didn't realize how the timing of it would be the day of, because just a few short hours ago, a wrestler that I'd say is one of my favorites. I don't want to speak for Vac, but I would say he's probably a person he really likes. Recently passed. Mr. Brody Lee, also known as John Huber, has passed away due to complications in his lungs unrelated to COVID. His wife has recently put out, but I'd hazard to say the wrestling world is kind of shook about this. You're on.
Yeah, man. I don't think it's any inaccurate statement to say that Mr. Brody Lee was one of the best heel characters of the last year of wrestling. Um, just an absolutely enthralling and intimidating and entertaining character portrayed by a man who, by all accounts, over the last couple hours, was one of the sweetest guys ever backstage. And, neither of us knew him personally, but I saw some behind the scenes shoot stuff with him long before this news came out. And he seemed like a very nice guy. And he had two sons, two very young sons, Brody and Nolan, one of which I remember hearing back when he was TNT champion would sleep with the TNT championship. Um, and honestly, I'm not so much sad that John Huber is gone, excuse me, because he's left behind an incredible body of work for people to go back and explore and see what an amazing person and performer he was. I'm sad that his sons are never gonna really get to know him as they grow up. They'll be able to see that work, yeah, but they won't be able to know him as a person. They'll get all these great stories and things from hopefully his friends who will be there looking out for them as they grow up. Um, and I wish nothing but the best for his wife, now widow, Amanda. I hope that the wrestling world is able to pull together behind her and help her raise those two boys. Um, and yeah, I don't have much else to say because I didn't know Brody personally. I didn't know
Neither.
John personally when he. I mean, one thing we aren't talking about as well is that he was Luke Harper in WWE. And when I got into wrestling, that's when the Bludgeon Brothers were having their big push. And you say what you want about that gimmick. I thought it was awesome and badass and scary for at least a little while.
For
Um,
all the shit we can say about early Wyatt family and how everything came out, Luke Harper was not the weak link of that whole faction.
no, no, man. And like he totally got over from it at points too. It's just they didn't want him to. So he never got
They wanted him to
pushed.
be over in different ways, and he acknowledged that, and he went a separate way. He tried to make his name as he wanted to make it, and he did. So
Um,
wish we could have seen more of it, but that's going to be the a great what if.
yeah. Um, if you want, I do have just a bevy of the tweets open up here, and we can
I've
read
been
off a
going
few.
through. Let's read, like, there's one I remember was a Dax from FTR,
Mm,
and he was just basically saying like how John helped him through on the road and all that kind of stuff, and basically said, "Nah, your kids are gonna know who you are."
Braun Strowman tweeted out a very sweet photo of the Wyatt family hanging out backstage, just saying that he was at a loss for words. Hashtag rest well, brother. Big E's tweeted a few things. He's got a whole thread going at this point, but his initial tweet was, I hope you all get to know someone like John. He was the biggest family man and someone who made me laugh daily. I'll miss him every day for the rest of my life. I love you, Brody, and I thank you so much for loving me. Charlotte Flair tweeted, it's hard to explain to people, and I'm not certain he would want me to, that the biggest, scariest man you'll ever see on television is the kindest soul you'll ever meet, and a model husband and father, and proof that some people are too good for this earth. Drew McIntyre tweeted out, our entire brotherhood and industry mourns tonight. In addition to his incredible passion and talent, John was above all else a great man who loved his family more than words can say. Please keep them in your thoughts. I'll see you down the road, brother. Heart emoji, hashtag RIP Brody Lee. The official WWE account, of course, tweeted, WWE is saddened to learn that John Huber, known to WWE fans as Luke Harper, passed away today at age 41. It's too fucking young, dude. WWE extends its condolences to Huber's family, friends, and fans. Triple H tweeted, amazing talent, ... better human being, husband, and father. Stephanie McMahon tweeted, I'm so deeply sorry for the loss of John Huber. We bonded over the love of our children. He was a true family man.
The best things I've been seeing, though, are all the photos where Brody's cutting up.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one Matt shared where he got busted open by Sammy. And
Yeah.
he's backstage getting stitched up, and Brody came to see if he was doing all right, if he was beat up, and he says, and Matt said, I'm too old to feel beat up. And then Brody took the biggest grin over top of him.
Mm-hmm.
There was one with Marco Stunt.
Yeah,
that Marco shared.
That photo. Tony Khan, just such a class act, tweeting, I'm devastated by the loss of John Huber, known to fans as Mr. Brody Lee, formerly Luke Harper. John was a great man. His family came first, his loving wife Amanda and their sons Brody and Nolan. He loved wrestling and was great at it. He loved you fans. Please keep him in your hearts. And then you have his stablemates. John Silver tweeted, it's one of the worst days of his life. Stu Grayson, John was genuinely one of the best, honest, and kindest men I've ever known. He was like that the very first day I met him back in 2007, and he was like that that very day I saw him in AEW. I will always only have good memories of him. I love you, man.
Because remember, before he was Luke Harper in WWE, he was on the Indies as Brody Lee and GCW or CCW. I can't remember which one. One of those two that often teamed up with Chikara, which was the home base of the Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah. Evil Uno just said, R.I.P. John, I am going to miss you. Anna J said, I don't know how to feel. I'm so heartbroken thinking about his wife and children who loved him so much. He was such a great man and helped me more than I could have asked for. He will be missed terribly. ... Number 99. It's just there's so many more I could go through. Like I've got something like 50 tabs open right now.
Tony said some sweet. Tony Schiavone said some sweet things. So many people have just been going like, hearts are out to the family.
The fucking Iron Sheik, bro, in all caps, Brody Lee. I am so sorry, Bubba. God bless you forever. You were best, big man.
Sheik's got a chic. It's this. At least it wasn't. At least it wasn't something harmful. At least he wasn't. At least didn't pass because of an overdose or a car crash. He was able to say goodbye to his family. He was surrounded by loved ones. He like.
And like,
there's some comfort in knowing that, at least.
And also you got to think in terms of his career. He went out on a real high note. His last match was that dog collar match with Cody.
I mean, in just the entirety of his career, he went out on basically the main event scene.
Mm-hmm.
Always trying to push for that. He went out on the main event.
Yeah. I mean, what more could you ask for as a wrestler? He did a great job, and of course there's that part of me that's worrying right now what's going to happen to the Dark Order without him, this, that, and the other thing. But at the end of the day, a good man is gone, and that really sucks. And it's hard to think how we're gonna do another couple hours just talking about the last week of wrestling, because this just happened, and it was raw. Very emotional and raw. I'm not gonna lie, I had a pretty decent day, and then I saw this news a couple hours ago, and yeah, I cried. I got pretty emotional for a little bit there.
I think the biggest thing for me is, like I said at the top, one of my faves. Jesus Christ. Hold on.
It's okay, man. Take a second.
It's on the wrong side. That's why I get for trying to be quick about it. But I didn't realize that until I saw that tweet. Because I thought, oh, he's going to be back. In like a few weeks' time, it's going to be awesome. He's going to be back. He's going to be dope, doing dope shit. Like,
yeah, because last I heard, he was out on an ankle injury.
That's the last we heard. He was like, there was heavy rumors he was going to be in Rochester when they started touring again, and like, for all intents and purposes, it felt like, Brody's just around the corner. He's going to be with us for a while, doing dope shit, and
there was talk of him going to New Japan next year, dude.
He would have done amazing things there.
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing that cut off just makes you just like go like, holy shit. Yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
This year's just been rough for good wrestling souls that shouldn't have gone.
It really does feel like a final. As much as I've been against the whole, like, 2020 is inherently the problem, like, it's more so a bunch of systemic problems that have just compounded into this year, in my opinion. But, like, this really does feel like just a final fuck you from 2020.
Because earlier this year, we had lost Shad Gaspard
mm-hmm.
and Hannah Kimura.
Yeah.
And, like, those are both tragic in their own unique individual ways, and this is just a what could be. What could the Dark Order have been with Brody Lee? What could he have brought to the world of wrestling?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there was a part of me that really liked the idea of seeing them draped in gold at one point.
But it's a hard thing to also go, because like, we're just fans. We just saw him on the TV. We never knew him.
We've never even met this man at like an autograph signing.
No.
But he affected our lives so much. He was such a good entertainer that he touched our lives in such a way that, like, we can't help but get really choked up talking about the fact that he's gone.
And inspired us to make our own material because
He,
well,
he's in Dream Johnny. I have written one of this man's characters.
uh,
And I'm not gonna lie, he's in it quite a bit. Um, and we're still planning to release the game. I'm gonna go back tomorrow, and I'm gonna touch up the dialogue a little bit just to make sure there's nothing like really unintentionally insensitive in there.
yeah, because this was
But
written a month ago.
yeah, I originally wrote it a month ago. You've been programming ever since then, adding in little things of your own here and there. But uh, I'm gonna take another look at the script tomorrow morning just to be sure everything's fine, and we will. We're sure about this, right? We're dedicating the game to
Yeah,
his memory.
yeah. Game's going to be released as planned. Same like the day it was planned to release. We're doing it, and it's being dedicated to John. Just just feels right. I mean, we're two chuckle fucks out in the middle of nowhere that just wanted to make a fan game about a wrestling promotion we really like and a couple of characters we really enjoy, and we really enjoyed his character, and we wanted to have it in there.
And I mean, oh, I can't remember who said on Twitter, but like one of the Dark Order members revealed to just a little bit ago that like there's all those scenes in BT of him just screaming at them, and I wrote one of those scenes, and apparently the second the camera shut off, they all just burst out laughing.
I am, I do want to at least. No one's really watching. I don't think we're.
No.
Yeah, we're just kind of talking and processing on our own. So I think it's fair. I think it's okay to just kind of go like, yeah, we wanted to really because his character's it was a heel. He was a bad guy. We wanted to make it a fun, lighthearted game. So we really did soften the character's edges. So we gave him a lot of cool, heartwarming, sweet moments.
Yeah.
That
There's a
that
there's a moment in there where I was really delicate with. I'll say that.
yeah, and I added bits, and I've told you about those as I was
Yeah.
adding them. So it's not like we made him an out and out monster, an evil
Mhm.
guy. No, we for lack of a better way of describing it, we tried to make his character nuanced. And our dumb dating sim game where we date John Silver.
Yeah.
Um,
Um well, I don't have any alcohol in the house right now. I I drank most of my beer the last 2 days, but um, I got a pina colada bang right here. So best I can do. This one's for you, John.
yeah. Gone too soon, but we're glad you left what you did with us.
So long, and thanks for all the fish.
But I don't think, from everything I've heard about the guy, he wouldn't want people to dwell on sadness for long. He seemed like a pretty happy-go-lucky guy. So I think we should try and talk about the wrestling we liked during the week.
Mm-hmm. Uh, just gonna be hard because I may have put something I didn't like at the start. Whoops.
We'll, you know what? Why don't we just get this out of the system then? Why don't we just go full catharsis and just rip on a company that can probably handle it?
Yeah, you know what? I saw a lot of people fucking. Okay, I know you just put the camera on me. All right, here it goes. I saw a lot of people saying that TLC was pretty good on Monday. I saw a lot of people saying that they liked it. It was surprisingly enjoyable. Are y'all fucking idiots? Did you go insane on me or some shit? This pay-per-view was dog shit.
Dear God, you went full Adam with that dog shit.
Yeah.
Adam Blampier, full.
Oh, this fucking The match between AJ and Drew felt like they booked it at the last minute, and they didn't even do the last minute stipulation from the end of that episode of Raw. They just completely forgot about it. Um, every other match except for Hurt Business versus New Day felt like an afterthought. Like Hurt Business versus New Day was a really solid tag match, really good get the belt on the heels match kind of thing. Um, and then fucking the women's tag match. Hey, guess what? Charlotte's back, and we're throwing a belt right on her, and we're teasing taking the belt off Asuka already. Fucking Jesus fucking Christ! You gotta be kidding me. Hey, you know the Fiend, the thing that was our most popular character in at the beginning of the year. Here's one of the oldest members of our roster burning him to death. Oh, but don't worry. Here's Alexa Bliss on the High Dog. Here's Alexa Bliss on the next episode of Raw on a fucking swing set talking about how the Fiend's going through a metamorphosis. He'll be back any second now and scarier than that. You fucking burned a man to death in the middle of the ring. I know they cut away and it was a dummy, but like this
But
was
the Fiend
just
is
like
supernatural.
all the worst kinds of WWE booking, all like colliding together in this. And then to top this off, Chris, did you hear what WWE are doing in response to their record low viewership numbers?
You mean bring in a bunch of legends that people miss to possibly pop a rating?
Yeah, that's happening. The first episode of Raw in 2021 is Raw Legends Night, featuring appearances from all your favorites like Hulk Hogan, Trish Stratus, Kurt Angle. Who else haven't we pissed off?
Carlito.
Carlito!
They just announced it earlier today.
Hurricane Helms, we hired him back after he was in the Elite Deletion. Fucking
can't wait for his contract to run out and go to AEW.
It reeks of. Okay, this is a cliche thing to say, but like, Chris, you know what the definition of insanity is, right?
It's repeating the same thing, hoping to get different results.
Yeah. And how many times have they hit a ratings dip and responded with, we're going to have a bunch of legends back on an episode of Raw?
Regularly.
Three times now in the last 2 years.
Last 2 years, but we also had SmackDown anniversary specials, Raw anniversary specials, where that's always the modus operandi. And if you want to be technical, they kind of also did it when they brought main roster people into NXT to pop the ratings first couple weeks.
Mm-hmm. And like I said on Twitter when this got announced, WWE is stuck in a quantum loop. And we've talked about this I don't know how many times now. It's not that they don't know how to fix things. It's that Vince McMahon thinks he knows how to fix things, and he's doing all the same stuff he's done for years and years, and it doesn't work anymore. Like, I read the other day that the real reason Keith Lee and all those other guys got sent back to the Performance Center is because Vince is blaming skinny guys and smaller guys on the lower viewing numbers. And so... Am I still on?
You are on. Hold on.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to fucking go. I read the other day that the reason those guys got sent back to the Performance Center is because Vince doesn't think skinny guys are selling well, that they are causing the low viewership numbers, and so he wants to refocus on big guys. Because apparently it's still the 80s. Like, dude, you don't understand anything about this business anymore.
I'll be right back because I got to deal with something. Uh, since you have a hard time improving, keep going on your Raw rant, and until I get back, if you need other topics, remember you could talk about your social media, you could talk about Megaforce, you could talk about Dream Johnny and how we plan on doing some stuff with that. Does that help?
Thank you.
Having
Thank
topics help
you.
you?
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I feel like you don't appreciate it, but
Fuck off. It's just like I genuinely don't know what else there is to say at this point. It gets exhaustive saying the same shit about Raw every week, saying the same shit about WWE every week, because we may not have been doing MMWP every week this year, but we've been doing the wrestling discussions on Analytical Fanboys in the last couple weeks, or when there was an MMWP, there was shit on Analytical Fanboys, is what I'm trying to say. I'm getting caught up in all my rage and my frustration here, and it's, I don't know what to do. Like, it's just baffling to me that they're still doing this. Vince McMahon is too old and too stubborn, and he's going to keep going in the same patterns forever until he dies. And Lord knows when he's going to die. Like, I know a week or a couple weeks ago, I wished death on the man, but like, it doesn't seem right to do that tonight. And I don't know what else to say. It's so frustrating and so irritating on a level I don't even know. So you know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bring up the dog. Hold on. Hi everybody. This is Tucker. Here's my doggy boy. And I love him very much. He's King Charles Cavalier. He sleeps up here a lot now, because my sister and her dog moved out. And Tucker and my sister's dog used to sleep together downstairs a lot, but now he doesn't like sleeping downstairs alone. So he comes up here. I got a little bed set up for him at the foot of my bed over there. That's what that pink blanket is. But right now, he came up to me and he was moving around and doing stuff. So I figure he probably wants some pets. Isn't that right, Tucker? You want some pets? Yeah, you do. You're a good boy. You're a very good boy. Man, you're so fluffy and warm. You're the perfect winter doggy. I love you. Oh, you make everything better. Yeah. Yeah, look good boy. Oh, look at this puppy. We had no idea what's going on because he's missing an eye and his eye that he does have is gone blind. He's an old pupper. Old King Charles Cavalier pupper. That's for sure. But I still love you. I love you so much, Mr. Tucker. You're a very good puppy. Yes, you are. Good boy. Good boy, Tucker. Mm, yeah, I'm gonna put you down. Oh, he took my headphone. Um, so what's going on? How's your evening been? Uh, I hope I hope the news didn't hurt you too much. I know we're all, we're all still dealing in our own ways, but I think we'll get through this. I think tomorrow's going to be a better day, and we're all going to feel better. Especially we'll start feeling better because Chris is back now and he's putting on his headphones, so he'll probably be back on in a second. Um, I deserve that. I just picked up the dog and started talking to him.
I mean, Dogs are always good for boosting the stream's ratings. But
That's
yeah,
true.
no, I've just... Here's the thing. Whenever I see someone go like, oh, that thing on WWE was good, I always just put the asterisk in my head. It's like, for what
For
WWE
WWE.
has been doing.
Yeah. It's like... I don't know, man. Like,
You gotta...
it's not just...
You
It's
gotta...
not just that I'm... Go ahead.
You gotta grade wrestling on its own curve for each show. An A+ show in WWE, it's an A+ show for WWE. While an A+ show for AEW, it's just it's a different kind of show. Same thing with New Japan. Same thing with Impact, because they all have their own goings on. That means that they have to accomplish different things. They have to accomplish different things to get that kind of a rating.
I mean, that's true, and that's a very good way to explain it away. But like that doesn't stop the constant feelings of like frustration and annoyance I felt not just all
It's
year,
not
but
meant.
like
I don't. I'm not trying to say. Oh, you shouldn't feel disappointed in AEW. Not AEW. WWE. It's just more. To an extent, it's its own little thing right over there. It's Archie Comics while we're watching Marvel and DC.
yeah, I get it, man. And like I'm just trying to vent, and like I'm also trying to build to something because like I gave this a lot of thought this week after TLC. But honestly, like with what all has been happening, and just like how this year has gone and how my interest in WWE is like so sheerly dropped off. Like I've been hanging on by a fucking thread, and that thread's name was Bray Wyatt. After what they did to him this week, I have zero faith in this character ever like reaching the same heights that he had at the start of this year or even in 2019 again. And that's nothing on the performer. That's on the company. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I will not be watching any new content from WWE in 2021. I will watch older stuff. I will watch classic matches and pay-per-views if I am so inclined, but I will watch no newly produced WWE content from 2021. And the only way that's going to get broken, because this is my New Year's resolution, okay? The only way this is going to get broken is if Vince McMahon dies or announces he's retiring and actually completely, fully retiring. Because there's no way I can't not see what a post-Vince McMahon WWE looks like.
If it's any good at all, it looked like Adam Blampier's fantasy booking.
Mm-hmm.
I will agree to that, but I also have like one other thing. If Aleister Black somehow becomes the world champ, I gotta fucking watch that. Come on, Aleister Black, though.
True. But, like, you saying that, this is what this fucking company does to me. Just you saying that, just you suggesting that gave me hope that he would win the Rumble.
He won't.
Yeah, he won't. But that's the thing, is I'm stupid and deluded enough, and they fucking know it, to just hear shit like that and go, oh, what if he wins the Rumble? That'd be really cool.
I just want him to win his contract and go be Tommy End somewhere else.
Yeah.
By somewhere else, I mean AEW, because goddamn Lance Archer versus Aleister Black.
Oof.
Aleister Black versus Orange Cassidy.
Mm.
Orange Black versus Powerhouse Hobbs.
Mm-hmm.
Sting.
But yeah, that's WWE this week, and that's the last time I'm fucking talking about WWE this year or potentially next year. Unless I just like watch a really good classic pay-per-view and decide to go off on it for a few minutes on here, which may very well happen.
Yeah. But speaking of Sting, there was another advertisement on an old promotion he used to be in.
That's a transition.
Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah, the Tonys were on Impact again this week. I guess this is just going to be a thing forever now.
I
Of
mean,
them.
well, Kenny Omega's on Impact, I figure.
Yeah, they basically just showed up to wish Impact a Merry Christmas, advertise their show, and say like, "Oh, hey, there's a match with our champion in it on your next pay-per-view. You know, if our champion's going to be working matches on your show, maybe some of your guys should come over and work on our show." And specifically, he highlighted the tag division.
But it's also basically like saying, see how the better half lives.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just fucking great.
Yeah.
I have a cookie, and I'm eating it slowly.
Excellent. Excellent. Did you watch BTE this week? I know you didn't.
Nope.
Well, you fucking should have, because it was the best BTE of the year. Like, this is a BTE so good that even Dave Meltzer praised it on The Observer.
Okay.
Like he was dead on about like this is just wall to wall laughter of the entire through line is they've been doing this plot for the last couple of weeks of Frankie Kazarian keeps yelling at Brandon Cutler because Brandon Cutler's trying to be one of the boys now that he's on a winning streak, and Frankie Kazarian thinks he's just a mark. And so they played into that by having that arc conclude here with Frankie Kazarian doing the Scrooge role in A Christmas Story with the best friends as the free ghosts.
Please tell me Orange Cassidy was the ghost of Christmas Future.
He was.
Beautiful. Because that probably pisses off a bunch of people who go like, oh, fuck Orange Cassidy, saying like, oh yeah, no, he's wrestling's future, fuck you.
Mm-hmm. And the best part is, all of them like did not give a shit at all. Like they were all at Orange Cassidy levels of I don't give a shit. Trent shows up and he's just like, "Sup, man? I'm Ghost." And Frankie's like, "What? That's your gimmick now? It's kind of the shits, but I guess you could make it work." And he's like, "No, I'm actually look. We're doing a Christmas Carol thing, man. You're being an asshole to Brandon Cutler. Stop it."
We'll talk more about Trent later.
Yeah. And there's of course Chucky T is the Ghost of Christmas Present. And hey, there's
you put that sexy on his name.
Sexy Chucky T.
Yes.
And this also like interacts with the through line where the Dark Order are going around doing Christmas carols and stuff like that. And there's a hilarious bit where they spook Frankie because he's going to the bathroom and he walks into the stall and the entire Dark Order is right there and they just start singing and he's like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
I haven't watched it, but I hope to God, Colt Cabana's there, just looking utterly confused, not knowing a single word.
Oh no, Colt Cabana was a real MVP in this episode too, because he's wearing his AEW merch Hanukkah sweater, and like he starts off the episode going like, "What's Christmas caroling, guys? I don't understand." And then like he's trying to get the Dark Order to understand the true spirit of Christmas by midway through, and then like the best fucking gag is at the very end of the episode. When the Dark Order is trying to do a Christmas Carol for Hangman, they're like, "Yeah, man, everybody loves Christmas. You got to be together and be happy on Christmas. That's what our Christmas expert Colt Cabana told us."
Beautiful.
And like they also do a full-on parody cover of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer called Hangman the Handsome Cowboy, which is great. And the episode might have actually ended with Hangman finally joining. Because like I said, they're all like, "Come on." He's like, you guys were just singing. This is fucking crazy. I'm just going to take my booze and leave. And they're like, "No, come on, Hangman. It's Christmas. It's Christmas. We all got to be together. Come on, we're friends." And he's like, "All right." And he sings down and starts singing with them. And then flipping like the conclusion to the Frankie Christmas Carol thing is hilarious just because he comes out of the EVP office and like there's a bunch of undercarders there including Marco Stunt, and he goes up to Marco Stunt and he's like, "You boy, Tiny Tim, take this money, go get the boys all those shitty White Claws they like, and if there's any money left over, get a big fucking turkey for Brandon Cutler and his family." And then Brandon's just off to the side like, "What?" And he turns around and goes, "Brandon, you're one of the boys, you're one of the boys, I love you, you're one of the boys, I'm getting anger management because of you." And everybody's like, "He's getting anger management, it's a miracle." And then like another great segment that happened on Dark was fucking Matt Hardy. He's talking to Private Party backstage after their match, and he's trying to explain like, "No guys, I didn't steal the pin from you, I was trying to enhance the match by giving it a bit of shine at the end. That last minute tag makes it look a little more frantic, it's totally cool." And then the Bucks just walk in and they're like, "Hey Matt, what's up? You've been a bit of a prick lately. What's up with that?" And like this is Matt talking to Matt Hardy, and Nick just goes, "Yeah, we're worried you're turning heel." And Matt Hardy is like, "Heel, guys, I'm not turning heel. Let me explain something to you." And then he says a date, and he goes, "Do you know what that date is?" And they've got these looks. And they say, "It's All Out." He's like, "Yeah, All Out. You know what happened to me at All Out? The most embarrassing moment of my entire career. I pranged my head open a little, and suddenly everybody on Twitter, everybody who just a few months ago was talking about how excited they were for me to be in this company, is saying that I'm old, that I need to be put out to pasture, that I'm not safe anymore, that I shouldn't be in matches anymore. Do you know how much that hurts? Do you know how worried that makes me for being able to provide for my family? So yeah, maybe I am turning heel. Maybe I am thinking about myself a little too much now. Maybe I am working a little too hard. But guess what? I have to, because I have to go out there and I have to show those people what I'm made of and remind them why they're supposed to love me." And it's like, oh man, this just went from a heel turn to a badass turn.
It went it went to like, I'm trying to there. It's one of those people celebrities who's desperately trying to make the audience love them.
Mm-hmm. It's fucking like, I know you haven't seen the Last Ride documentary, but he's fucking doing Mark Calloway shoot at the end of his career, where he kept coming back for match after match because he would do a match and he'd go like, "Okay, that's my last match," and then he'd watch it months later and go, "Oh, this is embarrassing."
Yeah, but it's also just like it's that, but also a little bit of like Kevin Owens. "I'm fighting for my family. Fuck you. I don't give a shit. Can they eat? Good."
Yeah.
Which is like fair enough kind of character, but they also really bring in the whole aspect, the dirty aspect of the Sammy Guevara feud, which is interesting. And it makes the character more than just a rehash of Big Money Matt, which is what it kind of felt like for a little bit, of just like, oh, it's Matt Hardy doing a new Big Money Matt or a new V1. You know, it's a new twist on the idea.
Yeah.
Which is good.
It's
because
it is really good.
Because Matt Hardy's a chameleon when it comes to his gimmicks and stuff and whatnot. Like, for all the things Chris Jericho says, it's like, oh yeah, David Bowie inspired me to just keep reinventing my character and doing all that kind of stuff. You can definitely see a linear progression between the Chris Jericho that debuted on Raw and the Chris Jericho we have now. It's different versions of Chris Jericho, but they're all Jericho.
It's a character that's evolved over time and gone through different sort of versions of that character. It's like watching Wolverine evolve over the years.
Yeah. But Matt Hardy, he goes on switches. He flips a switch.
Mm-hmm.
it feels different. Because V1 feels different than Hardy Boy, which feels different than Broken, which feels different than Big Money. Like, they all feel distinct.
Yeah.
Like, you can't say Matt Hardy is the same character as Big Money Matt. They are two different kinds of characters.
Yeah, for that money.
Which is in some ways good because it creates more distinct individualities between eras and whatnot, but also it can make his character work feel a little inconsistent as a whole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So tell me what happened on on Dark, because didn't watch that either. I've been okay. I don't know if you've been able to hear it, but I just need to say it. I've been sick for the past week.
Yeah, you told me you had a head cold.
I've
So,
had
like,
so it's been kind of, I've been holed up just binging comfort content,
mm-hmm.
and like I only just finished Dynamite today
Oh, wow.
because it's just been like kind of a moment of like I don't want to put in the effort to think.
Yeah. Um, but like I watched I didn't actually watch Dark. I just watched this segment when it went up the other day because this was another thing that Dave Meltzer was like, this was really good and everybody should be paying attention to it. And I went and watched it and I went, this is really good and everybody should be paying attention to it. Why the fuck wasn't it on Dynamite?
Because Waiting Room's not on Dynamite yet.
Yep. It was a Britt Baker's waiting room segment where SCU are the special guests and Britt Baker's basically an afterthought on her own segment because they just come out and Frankie Kazarian's like, yeah, I know you like to tell jokes on this part of the show, but like this is a serious time. And he starts cutting this promo on Christopher Daniels and he's like, man, what the hell happened to you? At the start of this year, you were a house of fire, and then we just kept losing and kept losing and kept losing. And look where SCU is at in the rankings right now. What's going on? And Christopher Daniels is like, yeah, you're right. I have sucked this year. This year has sucked the life out of me, man. It's fucking sucked. I haven't even wanted to come into work half the time this year. It's been so bad. And I always said, if it ever got this bad, that would be the point where I'd retire. So you know what? Maybe tonight's the night. And Frankie goes, no, you don't get to fucking do that. You don't get to twinkle out. You don't get to just blink out of existence. You're Christopher fucking Daniels. You're C fucking D of SCU. You and I, we're making a pact right here and right now. We are going to work our asses off. We are going to get in the best shapes of our lives. And we are going to get our tag titles back. The tag titles that you never got to win. We're going to get those. And the next time we lose in a match, that's when SCU is done. But until then, we're going to work as hard as we possibly can. And like Dave Meltzer pointed out, it's basically the same thing as the retirement storyline that Ric Flair got back in the day, but it's a fucking good storyline to do. And I'm excited.
Life rhymes sometimes, so it's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a great promo, and I'd highly recommend people check it out. And Chris is coughing like crazy.
Yeah, good thing I fucking muted my mic. All right.
But shall we go on to Dynamite?
Let's do the boom.
All right. I'll light the fuse. So Dynamite opens this week with MJF and Demo God Chris Jericho with Jake Hager versus Top Flight. The match that was heavily built a couple weeks ago. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Chris Jericho being the veteran, basically getting one upcoming star to the main event, like closer to the main event, and two brand new people a lot of fucking shine.
But I gotta ask, did you hear about the thing with this segment?
No.
So, for those of you who aren't aware, AEW went on right after a big NBA game this week. And it was actually delayed quite a bit because of that NBA game. And a lot of NBA fans caught the first few minutes of Dynamite this week because of that. And instead of being like, oh, hey, wrestling's back on TNT, this is kind of cool. You know what the majority of reactions were? Good God, why is Chris Jericho still wrestling? He looks so old and fat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. And here's the thing, he's slimmed up since New Japan.
Yeah, Chris Jericho looks great for 50. Like, Chris Jericho is a good-looking dude for his age. But, like, I can also understand if you're used to those, like, slim, felt, chiseled NBA dudes, it is a bit jarring to look at Chris Jericho.
But I mean, at
But
least
also,
Top Flight. Top Flight.
Shaming.
Top Flight looked amazing.
Yeah.
They genuinely seemed like one of the pet projects of AEW. Not like any one EVP of just like, no, these guys, they have a lot of potential. We want to make sure that they're...
We can make a lot of money off of this.
Yeah.
And then MJF, like, consistently a pet project to AEW, being put in front of a new audience once again.
Very much so. MJF is probably... Like, you can definitely feel the wrestlers that they go, like, you're here because we know you can reliably do good shit and kind of be stuck around the mid-card and then be, like, float in the upper mid-card main event scene kind of back and forth. Like Miro. They brought in Miro because he's consistent, he works well, people like him, he can get himself over, he can always get himself over, and do it reliably. So they can go like, hey, can you be on the back burner for a little bit and help bring up these people while we bring up these people. Like, he's a team player kind of guy. But he also can do his own shit and get over.
Yeah. But the match ends... Oh, go ahead.
I was just making this. Like, but there are some wrestlers that you go like, they're there to basically start boiling and start building and getting that head of steam, so they are the mega stars in 3 years' time. Darby, AJF, I'd say Powerhouse Hobbs now.
Jungle Boy, hopefully. I don't think they've forgotten about him, but he does feel like he's been on the back burner forever.
Yeah, I think that might also there may also just be an aspect of that, of like, there was a COVID. I don't think he was ever in a major part of the COVID, of the hardcore COVID lockdown era. He's been a bigger part now that they've kind of loosened up on Daly's place. The limited era, let's call it. But like, hardcore COVID era, no, he wasn't there at all. I think that was partially due to travel. So it's kind of understandable we haven't seen a ton of Jungle Boy. But now that he's back, Jurassic Express is in a big feud with one of the hottest tag teams of AEW, FTR.
Yeah. But getting back to this match, it ends with MJF pinning Darius after a heat seeker and face planner from Jake Hager on the outside, or like actually on the ring apron.
They had to do a lot to bring down Top Flight, which looks great on them.
Oh yeah, Top Flight were like constantly whipping around them, but they'd always catch them with like a really strong blow, and I think that ended up being their downfall. They had just enough power over Top Flight's speed
and experience, because MJF compared to Top Flight is a veteran, and then you have Jericho, who's Jericho.
Mm-hmm. But Hager gets on the mic and gets in the ring, and he congratulates the two on their win. He says it's been 2 weeks since they came together as the Inner Circle, and now they've been winning because everyone knows their place and they're doing their job, except Wardlow. Wardlow is not here, hasn't been here for a little bit. MJF and Wardlow joined the Inner Circle because they are because they know the Inner Circle is a constant shining star on AEW, and he calls and Hager calls Wardlow both an asset and an ass whole. Uh, and then he says that he's sick of messing around, and so he talked to Tony Khan before this match, and Hager versus Wardlow is set for next week.
Which is gonna be a fun big hoss match.
Mm-hmm.
It also kind of it also kind of there's creative irony there because everybody was just like, "Yo, Santana, you can take as much time as you need. You have family problems." But Wardlow has family problems. Fuck Wardlow and his family problems. Why aren't you at fucking work, Wardlow? Which creates that interesting, like, that really rich kind of character irony with Hager. And how...
And I do like... Oh, go ahead.
And basically how he still kind of views MJF and Wardlow within the inner circle.
Yeah. And I love how, like, Jericho and MJF are still keeping character during this promo and even after it, because, like, as Hager's walking away, MJF's like, what the fuck? Are you going to let him do this? And Jericho's just going like, oh, for the love of God, I thought we were done with this.
But it's not, it doesn't feel like a kind of, I want to break up the inner circle because fuck Wardlow. It feels much more like, we're both in the inner circle. But I'm the senior, and I need to make sure he knows his place.
He's got to make sure his young boy knows where to stay in his lane.
Essentially, it's punishing the young boy of the inner circle of Wardlow.
And another great thing is, I realized this the other day. It's taken AEW this long, a little over 2 years in, to get to a full-on Haas versus Haas match.
But we have a lot of Hosses now, though, because, like, that was a big thing people were wondering about. Like, oh, they don't have that many big men when they first started out.
Where's the beef?
That was a lot of, like, because we had a lot of great flyers and a lot of great, like, technicians, but not a ton of beef boys. But now we have Hager, Wardlow, Hobbs, Cage, Archer, and if you want to be Miro, if you want to be technical on just, like, aspect of beef, like, may not be complete size, but they fight like they're a beef boy. You have Moxley, you have Kingston, Pentagon, Penta, Butcher.
There's a good few burgers to be made in this company.
Yeah, but there's still some great lean chicken meat.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky Starks, chicken meat.
It's going to be the name of his autobiography.
But next we have a cool little promo segment from the Acclaimed. It really kind of makes them feel different within the sphere of AEW because they dropped a fucking diss track.
They did basically like a cheesy YouTube rap video, like a full-on song called Buck Hunt, which was pretty good, both as a promo and as a rap song. Like, I'm not a huge rap guy, but I've listened to enough of it to go like, yeah, good.
It's
flow.
solid. It's solid.
They thought of some stuff here.
Yeah,
I liked it.
It wasn't half-assed. Because, like, that's been the big problem with, like, rap gimmicks in the past. They're kind of a little half-assed. Look at R-Truth coming out to a rap, but it's just the same ad-libs over and over again.
Yeah.
Or John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, there's, like, genuine effort and thought put into it. And it's like...
Because it's probably... These two guys are probably two guys who grew up on rap and have actually wanted to be both rappers and wrestlers for a long time. Whereas those other guys we've mentioned probably just kind of had the rap gimmick given to them, and they went like, okay, I'm going to figure something out with it.
Well, I mean, R-Truth is a rapper. He drops records, I'm pretty sure. And so is John Cena. True. John Cena had an album.
He did?
Yes.
I didn't know that. That's insane.
John Cena was a featured artist in a well-renowned, acclaimed rap artist song. I can't remember what it was. Let me look. It should be on his goddamn Wikipedia, John Cena's.
It shouldn't it?
Oh, man. But no, John Cena was in like a surprisingly good verse too. It wasn't like half-ass, like I got John Cena to do a rap song. No, it was like, oh, that's like a really good verse. What the fuck, kind of thing.
Mm.
I forgot the H. There's an H in John Cena.
There is, isn't there?
Yeah, I thought it was John, like Jon.
No.
Oh man.
But yeah, not too much else to say here. Do you want me to just go on to the next thing?
Yeah, but I've been really enjoying the Acclaimed and what they've been doing. They've been doing good
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, their push is a little out of nowhere, but like not unwelcomely so.
See, here's the thing. I'd rather it be out of nowhere than just see the same tag teams over and over again.
Yeah.
Because we've been in a holding pattern of the same tag teams just kind of on repeat for the last little bit. And I like, because it was FTR and the Bucks and Hangman and Omega for a while. And then
Best friends.
And best friends. And that's kind of just been the tag scene for a bit because we were in the COVID era. That's kind of what they had. It worked. It was good storytelling. But now that they kind of are where they can have more, we're bringing in Jurassic Express so they can be a more prominent role against FTR. We're bringing in Dark Order and giving them more stuff to do. We're bringing in the Acclaimed, which have been doing pretty good on Dark, and we should probably do more stuff with.
All right, so the next thing is Tony Schiavone is in the ring to interview Sting once again. Sting comes out, actually apropos of nothing for once. He's just here for his interview. I get the feeling that this was supposed to feel like, oh, we're trying to have this interview with Sting, but stuff keeps coming up and messing with it. But in reality, it just feels like we've done the same Sting segment 5 times in a row now. Because he comes out, and the first thing Tony asks him is just like, how does it feel to be back on TNT? And Sting goes on a tear. He's like, oh, I'm back. I've come full circle. I'm back in the jungle. The jungle is still intact. This is amazing. And Tony's like, well, why are you here? And he talks about Cody and Darby and basically says, like, yeah, he's considering a match with both of them. He says when he looks at Cody, he thinks back to Dusty and like does this spot on Dusty Rhodes impression, talking about the time when Dusty pitched out the surfer gimmick to him, which was awesome. He says he talks about seeing Cody in the ring and everything he's done has drawn him back to TNT. But then before he can actually get to a point, Team Taz comes out and Taz says that Sting's word are bringing a tear to his glass eye. And he says Sting is only about himself. He calls Tony Schiavone a jabroni. Then Ricky Starks gets on the mic and says Sting is playing in their jungle and he is going to get hurt. And so Taz sends the boys in after Sting, and then the lights go out, come back up. Darby Allin's suddenly in the ring with his skateboard, and everybody's like, maybe not, maybe not. But then Taz gets on the mic and he's like, well, just you wait, Darby. You've got a match with Brian Cage in a week. You're gonna lose that title. You're gonna lose that title. And then Brian Cage fucking goes, maybe I don't want to wait. Maybe we should have this match right now. And Taz is like, fucking no. Get him to the back. Everybody get him to the back.
We are not prepared for this. You need to eat right for today.
Mm-hmm. And then we just get another little bit of Darby and Sting sizing each other up, and another beautiful bit of framing where there's like this low angle shot of them standing on opposite sides of the ring with the TNT title like right in the forefront of the frame in between them. Wow.
Yeah, no, this should be the last Sting segment for a bit, unless they do something really big and drastic. I wouldn't mind him being a guest commentator on Dark. That'd be fun. Have some of his old school insight. That'd be neat. Or
I
guess
mean, he was on the podcast this week. I haven't listened to it yet, but I assume that's really good.
I saw some
'cause
of
that's
the summary write up, and that was I'm gonna watch it because it seems fascinating. Because
yeah.
it's
I mean,
also
it's him
like,
and Tony Schiavone with a live mic.
and like Aubrey Edwards there just going like, guys, talk about the old shit. Everybody wants to hear about the old shit. Talk about it. Talk about it. Yeah, no, but like, again, like we've been, like people have been saying, you just said it's kind of a repeat of the same segment. At least this time they didn't go super hard and go like, hey guys, Sting's gonna be on. Sting's gonna be on. It was much more like, hey, by the way, we want to have this one last segment. We want to have this segment with Sting. He's gonna be on. They didn't advertise it other places. It's just okay, cool.
I saw it on Twitter once, but like that's not like every fucking where you look. Sting appearing live on AEW this week.
And there's a run in, which
Yeah.
I mean,
Like I don't want to tell promoters how to do their business, but I honestly think if you're gonna book it as a run-in, don't advertise it ahead of time. But if you're just doing an interview segment or a regular promo or a match, yeah, advertise it ahead of time. That's great.
yeah. But I definitely feel like Sting's part of AEW. He's integrated. He feels like he's a part of it. He can now do other things, or he can just not be there for a week.
He is worn out. Like
I don't
I
want to
feel
say
like a
he's worn
dick.
out.
I feel like a dick saying this, but he has kind of worn out his nostalgia buff.
Yeah.
All right, let's actually do something with him now.
Yeah. I have a feeling we may get one more segment where it's just pure nostalgia fluff because, god damn it, Cody wants to be able to. I have a feeling
That
these
boy
segments-
wants to play with his action figures. Damn it!
And like right now, his two favorite action figures are Sting. No, his three favorite action figures: Sting, Darby, and himself.
Yeah. That should be a BTE segment. Just Cody and Matt Cardona backstage with like an AEW ring and the figures.
I mean, genuinely, that's the best way to describe Cody's wrestling storyline in AEW. Is he's playing the wrestling storyline he's always wanted to tell, but he's also the main character.
Mm-hmm. Cody Rhodes is the ultimate self-insert fanfic writer.
But he's not like shit at it. He knows how to fucking rein it in and give his character flaws.
Like, I'm not like, guys, I'm working on What If Megaforce Was Good right now, and I'm not gonna lie, that thing feels a lot like a fanfic. But I went into it going, I can't not do this and make it feel like a fanfic because it kind of is a fanfic.
Nah, but again, just no more Sting next week. Or if you do Sting, have it be a different kind of segment. Have him. Wait, Darby's wrestling the next episode, right?
Sting in the rafters.
Not being in the rafters or being on commentary. Oh. I just put a Tootsie Roll in my mouth. Give me a second so I can...
I was going to say the next thing is you, but it's also my segment of the night.
Yeah, but just give me a second.
Okay.
This will be funny content later.
Yeah.
Probably won't.
I think I'm going to drink this whole bang and just stay up till like 4:30 editing. Whatever, fuck it.
Yeah, no, I had some Tootsie Rolls. Yep. Oh, real quick, just because I think this is fucking adorable, I'll probably bring it up again tomorrow when we record the podcast for Analytical Fanboys, which you can watch every Friday.
Yeah, we just did Mandalorian yesterday, and then next week we're doing I Love You Man, but we're recording that tomorrow night.
Which is a movie I really enjoyed growing up. I really enjoy that movie.
And I still have yet to watch it for the first time. I'm probably going to do that tomorrow.
But my sister got me this little stocking stuffer. It's a Hot Wheels with like they built in the seat for a Lego dude.
That's cool.
And the back has a pipe that's the size of a Lego hand. Completely unrelated to Lego. No Lego whatsoever on the package. It just says, like, you can put
Oh,
figure.
it's a 3mm clip. That's a
Yeah,
universal system that a lot of toys use.
yeah. But it's just like, oh, that's kind of neat because they purposely made the box that you could put a dude in there. It's Lego sized, so for
Nice.
little guy can ride it. Like, that's just
Very cool.
clever. That's clever. Cause you know damn well a kid who has Lego is probably also gonna have Hot Wheels, and if you just do that, it's just like, oh,
Oh my god, dude.
more
Did
play
you see
pattern.
that picture going around of like the empty ass Target Lego aisle on Christmas Day? And there's like 2 sets left, and they're the fucking police station. Nobody wanted to buy the police station this year.
Fuck yeah. I mean, Lego's also pulled back making police sets. They've pulled back on it.
Yeah.
Talk shit, get hit. But speaking of not talking shit, MJF went backstage to Santana and Ortiz. And it's hard to say this, but it seems like he genuinely went there to say, hey, Santana, I know what it feels like. I also just recently went through loss. I'm here for you.
They, like, MJF added a layer to his character of either he added a layer to his character of honest sympathy and caring, like being in a faction is changing him, or he's playing them just like he played Cody. Because remember, he did a bunch of sympathy stuff with Cody on BTE back in the proto days.
Yeah.
But
there's never a wink to camera, which is always which was always the thing with the Cody stuff. There was always a wink to camera. Like, after Cody left the screen or something, or whatever was gone, he immediately went back to MJF. But there was no wink to camera on this. But Santana also had just a really good line. It's just like, keep your head up.
Always keep your head up. Like, legitimately, dude, this was my segment of the night. It's this quick little thing, but, like, it made me feel something. I felt for these two dudes. Such good performances.
Oh yeah, because like it also plays into Santana's character, because you can just see him kind of be the person who goes like, no, you gotta be a little stoic with this because people are depending on you. Mm-hmm. Santana feels like that character because just like that's kind of been an aspect of it, is like people relied on him, so he needs to be a strong support for other people, and he sees that he can be that for MJF as well, and it's like, keep your head up, we'll get through this kind of thing. And it's like, this is nice. This is what I want when I say there needs to be less emphasis on face and heels. I want the heels to be nuanced and interesting in this way, and I want the faces to have faults and flaws. Like, they need to be good guys and bad guys, but they don't need to be two-dimensional.
Characters should be like onions. They should have layers.
Or we could just say parfaits. Everybody loves a parfait.
That's true. I do like a good parfait. But after this, we went to Colt Cabana, Preston Vance, and Alan Angels versus Jurassic Express, which was a very solid little tag match.
Oh, very fun. It's always because I'm really glad Alan Angels got signed to do stuff. Because, like, I loved seeing him fucking going up against Kenny Omega, going full hog. And it's just like, everybody, like, after that episode, there were people going like, oh man, that was a fun match. Or Kenny Omega gave him way too much. But now that seeing him where Alan Angels is now, it's like, fuck yeah. There's a great intro to this character. But also just Jurassic Express fucking going hard at the combination skills. With
getting their heat back, man.
Yeah, because it just showcased them to an extent so much. It made them look great. Mm-hmm. Which also builds up to the match that they're going to have with FTR, because Tully basically says, like, hey, y'all ain't shit. I'm the shit. I'm Tully Blanchard. These are my boys. They're FTR. They're going to kick your ass.
Yeah. And Marco Stun is just so pissed off. He's like the scrappy duo of the group. They have to hold
That
him
was fucking
back.
great because totally directly insulted Marco, and
Hmm.
Marco's just like, no, fuck you, and he's crawling. He Jungle Boy drops him like twice because he's just wiggling so much.
Yeah.
It's a perfect visual because it really gets across how much Marco's just a scrappy fucking fighter. He does not give a shit how small he is,
Hmm.
which is how you have to book a guy like that. Right,
Good little segment.
I gotta introduce the next segment
Yeah.
because we're at the hotel that AW has been using for COVID reasons. Alex Marvez comes up and goes like, "Hey, Kenny, Don, what the fuck? You're leaving already? You haven't even had a segment on Dynamite. Fucking talk to us." And basically, Don goes like, "Hey, you know what? It's kind of bullshit that wrestlers are coming out here making matches for themselves. It's kind of bullshit. I haven't seen that at all. This is dumb." Which I also took as a subtle dig to WWE because WWE does that all the fucking time.
Hmm. But
Uh,
it's also like him throwing shade at Kenny even because Kenny's an exec.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. But basically, Kenny also goes on and says like, Phoenix isn't a winner. Phoenix chokes, and that he's a winner, which is interesting because it's also heel being a liar. Because Tony Schiavone points out, like, no, Phoenix won, and he got injured, and he was talked out of continuing the tournament. But Phoenix won, which is which again makes you just go like, fuck you, Kenny, go beat his ass, Phoenix.
and
And that's about the segment. It's just more heat on them both, going like, fuck these guys.
um yeah, so a little promo just to remind us that they're there.
That they're
Um
assholes. Also,
but then
hyping
we
up Impact because Don Callis always has to hype up his boy, hype up his
Yeah, and
baby.
I love that Kenny's like, would you take him back at Impact if he keeps screwing up in this company? And he's like, I don't know, he's a little injury prone.
And fragile. But you know what? Conan really likes him. I'm pretty sure Conan will take him back. And it's just
Yeah.
like, oh, why? Like the way they said it, it was just like, oh, ew.
But then we got the Butcher with the Blade and the Bunny, and Eddie Kingston on commentary versus the Bastard Pack with Penta El Zero M. I think this match was good, but honestly, I wasn't paying that much attention because this was just hilarious commentary from Eddie
Oh god,
Kingston.
it was some of the best commentary all night. No, it was
He's con-
good. It was good.
he's
I really enjoyed it.
he's just constantly going like, oh, you're so right, JR, you're so good. Oh yeah, much respect to you, Excalibur, Shivani, you guys fucking suck, get the fuck out of here.
It like beautiful moments. Like Excalibur will say something, and Eddie will go like, Why are you talking about the Butcher?" And then the Butcher will do something, and Excalibur will go like, "Oh man, that was pretty cool." And Eddie Kingston just goes like, "Yeah." He only shat on them.
It was so great.
Like, like it's great. And again, this head feeds into my head canon that JR is technically the heel commentator for AEW.
Mm-hmm.
I've told you about that, haven't I?
uh I think so, yeah, like just basically all the stuff he's doing to accidentally bury people is him being a backhanded heel commentator.
Yeah. It's subtle. It's weird and meta.
Mm-hmm.
But also plays into JR just being JR, so.
Yeah.
But no, Pac won, though, with the Black Arrow, and it was fucking great. It's great to see
Yeah,
him again.
that was cool because Lance Archer came out for a distraction, and then Lance Archer gets in the ring, and they're like having a discussion about like who has the deed to beating Eddie's ass, and Eddie's just like booking it the fuck out of there.
Oh yeah, no, and there was also a great moment where like he was trying to tell the butcher, "Hey, hurry up! You're wasting too much time." And he gets off commentary, and it's like Tony just goes like, "Thank fucking God, he's gone."
He's like on a microphone, just going Butch, Butch. But if that is not a meme on the next episode of Botchamania, I'll be surprised.
Butch, and like it's great. But like the second Lance Archer comes in and goes into the ring, he just steals Tony's headset, and Tony's just sitting there like, no, like he like what, like a fucking puppy going like, why are you me no like, and it's just like great, and Eddie's just fucking going off, and it's hilarious. And he gives another like fuck you to Tony Schiavone. Says, "JR, you're great." Good segment. It's kind of a holding segment, but it was a good segment.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah. But then we have a backstage little promo.
Yeah.
It was not a full promo because it was just something small with Jade basically transitioning her feud with Brandy into something more, like giving them the door to start a new one by basically saying, "Hey, congratulations on the baby. Weird you had to get pregnant to avoid me, but whatever." Shaq challenged Cody. Shaq confronted Cody. I confronted you. But now what's next for Jade? I hope they have something for me.
Yeah, she's like, I'm waiting for a worthy opponent, and she also kind of like does a sort of backhanded thing to Brandy of like, all your duties are going to be taken care of while you're gone. That whole kind of cocky heel thing, and she's given this whole promo while she's getting her hair done too. So yeah, I liked it. It was a nice, subtle little promo, just advancing that storyline that bit more, and
but also giving a door for Brandy to walk out of it for right now.
Yeah. Hopefully we get a face taking up the mantle. I know everybody's expecting Red Velvet, but there's a part of me that just really wants it to be either Big Swole or Chris Statlander coming back from injury.
That'd be cool. I wouldn't mind seeing Big Swole again. I think Red Velvet is a good Austin Gunn.
Yeah.
You know what I
mean?
mean?
She was booked as Brandy's protege.
Young has a lot of potential, but that potential is the storyline right now and not necessarily a storyline.
Mm-hmm.
It's them getting the repetitions in. It's them building a name for themselves. That's their storyline right now.
Definitely.
That's what it feels like, at least.
Yeah. But after that, we got another big segment for tonight. Tony Schiavone is on the stage with Kip Sabian, Penelope Ford, and the best man Miro. And Miro is like, "Look at this fucking beautiful couple. Look at these beautiful people. You gotta smile for them. Smile, Schiavone." And Tony's just like, "Okay."
Goddamn, Tony had some of the best fucking reactions tonight of just people yelling at him.
I feel like Tony Schiavone is like really coming to his own as a character on AEW in the last month. It's been fun.
Oh yeah. Him with Britt Baker really just cemented Tony to a new audience. Because like people who watched WCW, they knew Tony Schiavone. But like this is Tony now.
Yeah. He's gone from being like this cool nostalgia pop commentator to almost like this generation's oh god, I can't believe I just blanked on that name. Interviewer guy, 80s. Cream of the crop promo.
Mean Gene Okerlund.
Yes. I think Tony Schiavone is becoming this generation's Mean Gene Okerlund.
Yeah.
Kip talks about how like this is a huge deal for TNT and AEW. It's going to be the first wedding segment in the company, and wrestling weddings are such a big deal, such a huge trope. And they announced that it's going to be a beach wedding. It will be a feature segment at Beach Break, the up-and-coming pseudo pay-per-view TV event. And it's actually the first time that's been properly announced or talked about on Dynamite, which is interesting. But then they do a little gag where they're like, oh, hey, here comes best friends. Remember they said they were going to interfere last week? Here they come. We better get ready to fight them. And then they laugh. They say nope. And they play a video of Trent being loaded into an ambulance. And Trent confirmed that he is shoe injured. He has a torn pec and he'll be out for a few months.
Which is a shame. But hopefully, like, that, to me, that just kind of evens up and makes the storyline make a little bit more sense. Because now Orange Cassidy and Sexy Chucky T can just team up and be a tag team against Kip and Miro, and it just makes the storyline a little bit more even, because now it's not just, oh, you're blaming us for the video game. Oh, you hurt our friend. Fuck you.
Yeah.
It's not just a prank war, which is what it's kind of felt like as a storyline. There's genuine, like, no, fuck you now.
It's got that extra little bit of kick on it now.
Yeah. Which, good. This story, like, I wouldn't say it was middling on the storyline. It was just more of like, okay, cool, this is a neat background storyline that I'm wanting to see a new segment in every once in a while. To now, like, I want to see Orange Cassidy kick their ass. I want to see Chucky T kick their ass for their friend.
It's the mid-card storyline that keeps you interested in the middle of shows.
Yeah. But now, but they've kicked,
and that's not to put any stink on it. Remember, like, what Adam said in his fucking hacker storyline video, Adam Bompier, not everything has to be a main event. Something can be just a really good mid-card story, and that's what this is.
Yeah. But they've also added a little bit of spice to make it a little bit more...
Yeah.
Also, I love how they haven't mentioned the bachelor party at all recently, because they can't really do it because of COVID.
But remember, fucking Billy Mitchell is still lurking backstage somewhere.
Billy Mitchell. That was a weird fucking get. AEW has been getting some good celebrities, but that was a weird fucking get.
Yeah. Like, if they had gotten James Rolfe, I'd have popped, but Billy Mitchell is like, okay.
Like, here's the thing. There's a couple people that go like, oh yeah, that'd be fun to see. Maybe like a big streamer, like Ninja or some shit like that. Ninja's probably too big for doing something.
Dude,
like that.
You know what would be fucking insane? Scott the Woz.
That'd be so fucking dumb. He doesn't even, like, he just doesn't watch.
I don't even think Scott the Woz knows wrestling exists.
Probably not. He's probably, like, but that'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Miro just goes like, who the fuck are you? Hi there, I'm Scott.
He brings Rex as the fucking chaperone for the bachelor party.
His wedding gift is Madden 08.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That'd be fucking so dumb. It'd be great.
This is the next game. Scott the Woz versus AEW. No, I was joking. Damn it! Don't make me write that. Don't make me write that.
I'll fucking write it.
Introduce the next segment. Damn it.
The next segment, because hey, Evil Uno wrestles the natural Dustin to kind of just go like, hey, join us, play with us.
And this is a fucking great match, dude.
Good match.
Like, genuinely, I love this so much. Dustin is just doing so much good work right now, and he made Evil Uno look great. And, like, I said on Twitter, there's few things that can make me happier in wrestling than seeing one of Dustin's kids do a flip-flop and fly. I legitimately jumped out of my chair and was like, fuck yeah!
Yeah. But again, like we were just saying, this is a good mid-card storyline that's been going on. That just kind of it's fun to be in the mid-card.
Yeah.
of the Dark Order trying to recruit Dustin Rhodes.
And I love how commentary this week was explaining what Seven was for the younger people who may not know it.
But here's the best thing about this, because it's predicated on the idea Dustin doesn't want to join the Dark Order, and the Dark Order's basically negging Dustin by going like, "Hey, you're Seven," and kind of picking at that wound, picking at that scar essentially, where you don't need to know who the fuck Seven was.
No.
But it adds another layer to it, which is fun. But
and I love how another commentary thing, Excalibur explained like, oh yeah, they're all numbered for the order that they joined the Dark Order in, and then everybody on Twitter attacked him and was like, well then how is there 99 and blah 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 if they're trying to get Dustin to be number 7, and fucking Evil Uno just comes out of nowhere and goes like, a bunch of people quit and now we need to fill those roles.
Fucking Evil Uno with the kayfabe.
Yeah.
Goddamn. If we ever have a wrestling promotion, we're gonna have 2 podcasts that go along with it. One is a podcast of shoot stuff, of just going of like how unrestricted is.
Yeah.
The other podcast is an in-universe kayfabe podcast where we basically explain all the kayfabe bullshit and talk about wrestling as if it was shoot.
Yes. But the match ends with Dustin pinning after a running bulldog. Evil Uno goes and asks Dustin to join once again, saying he can make him better, but Dustin rejects them. But Stu Grayson gets in the ring, starts beating him down when, who should appear? It's QT Marshall and Lee Johnson. They back Dustin up, and it looks like we're maybe getting a Nightmare Family versus Dark Order tag thing in the next couple weeks.
Oh god, imagine every member of the Dark Order versus every member of Nightmare Family, and it's just a big, giant Tornado Texas tag.
Legitimately, I would love that.
Because we also have the Gun Club and Nightmare Family.
Yeah.
Johnson, Dustin, QT, get Cody in?
Oh my god, dude. Which side is Colton gonna be on?
What?
I'm referencing that episode of Dark.
Right.
But after that segment, Tony Schiavone is backstage with Sean Spears, and Tony's like, I don't know why I'm here. You just asked for this segment, and Sean Spears is like, tell me, why did you leave wrestling for 15 years? And Tony Schiavone says, like, well, I was burned out. And Spears just immediately interrupts him and goes, then you understand exactly where I'm coming from. And he goes on this rant about how, like, he's just been floundering in AEW like he was in WWE, and he's had all these different gimmicks and nothing's really helped. He pulls out the glove. He's like, this is bullshit. I didn't need this. And like, it's because, and they do a kayfabe thing of him saying like, Tony Khan and Cody are holding me down, and I'm sick of it. And Sean Spears or Tony Schiavone goes, well, have you ever considered that you're the common denominator in all those things? Maybe it's your fault. And Sean Spears is just basically like, yeah, I have. And you're a piece of shit for pointing that out. I could go anywhere in the world with how talented I am. And he says he's going to do just that. And he tells Tony to inform all the EVPs that he'll be back when and if he feels like it.
And they continued the kayfabe, and they removed him from the roster page.
And he deactivated his Twitter.
And I saw one thing on Reddit. I was like, is this a shoot? And it's like, no, why would it be a fucking shoot? They had a fucking segment on Dynamite.
Yeah. Like, that's a hell of a way to retire if that's a shoot, but I don't think he retired.
No, I think
they're doing a thing.
They're doing a thing, and he's going to be on Impact next week.
Who's your pick? Who do you want to see him in a match against?
Anybody, really. That'd be fun. Moose would be neat.
I think Moose is a little out of his reach at the moment.
Maybe. Who knows? But I
I
can
would
definitely
say either Brian Myers or Sammy Callahan.
Brian Myers and have him play on the fact that in WWE that he was a jobber,
Mm-hmm.
and basically go like, "You're a piece of shit. I can beat your ass." And Brian's going like, "No, I'm good here. What the fuck you on about? I'm a professional here."
Yeah.
You know, and basically kind of show that Shawn Spears' major fault is still wrestling with that WWE mindset. That the problem is his, and it's a mental hang-up that he can't get over, that he was treated like shit in WWE. And that's been... Dude, that's been the major character arc of Shawn Spears, because think about it. That's why he fucking attacked Cody, because he was going like, Cody, you're talking about me the same way WWE execs were. Fuck you. You know?
Exactly.
But if you, fucking Brian Myers, that's the storyline.
Let's do it. I want to see it.
Tony put it on our plates. In 1 month's time. Dawn. Same.
Mm-hmm. You want to take the next thing?
I mean, yeah, because we had a really cool little backstage pre-match promo with Dasha Gonzalez interviewing Hikarushito, basically going like, "Hey, you have a match coming up. Abaddon has been kind of freaking you the fuck out. What's been up with that?" And Hikarushito's about to answer it, but then Abaddon comes in and goes like, "Hey, I'm scary. Rawr."
And Abaddon fucking just like starts attacking her, and Michael Nakazawa's like, time for the match, let's go.
Get away from the Japanese woman, you scary lady. So Hikarushito goes out. We'll just consider this all one big segment, because she goes out, has... AEW is excellent at doing the competitive squash match. This is a match to make Hikarushito look really good, have a good match, but it's also not just a squash.
Yeah, they didn't bury Alex Garcia.
Oh no, I can't wait to see her on Dark. She seems like one of those new upcoming Dark stars. She also has a great look, full pink. But like, she does get some in. But Abaddon shows up outside of the ring and goes like, "Hey, I'm Spoopy. I'm here. I'm doing my thing. Proceed." Hikarushito goes like, "No." Beats up Abaddon some. She's just laid out for the rest of the match. Hikaru goes in, wins the match, 1, 2, 3, that whole kind of thing. And she takes her kendo stick and starts poking Abaddon, going like, "Alright, you dead?
Is it dead? Did I kill it?"
And then Abaddon does her fucking zombie bullshit and goes like, "Ha! Rawr!" And bites Hikarushito.
Like full on blood packet, shit everywhere. This is a kayfabe injury. Like, dude, this fucking reminded me of some of the monsters attacking Hogan angles they used to do in the 80s. That's what this felt like. Just, here's this big damn hero being attacked by a big scary monster.
But they aren't playing it like Abaddon's a monster. They're playing it like Abaddon's a crazy fucking chick, and she just bit Hikaru. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is she doing? This is crazy.
And I've seen a bunch of people point this out. They're doing almost the exact same thing, but it feels 1,000 times better than when WWE did it with Shayna Baszler at the start of the year.
Because Shayna Baszler didn't have a fucking reason for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, she's kind of... She's
like a lioness. She's marking her prey.
Yeah, but no, with Abaddon doing it, you go like, yeah, of course this fucking woman who dresses up like that would think, this is a sound, logical tactic I can take. I'm gonna bite her. That will prove that I am the better wrestler. You can see Abaddon making that logical leap.
Yeah. And again, they leaned into kayfabe here. Like, after the show, they went on the Twitter and were like, here's photos of Hikarushito being treated by our backstage doctors. She is looking well and should make a full recovery in time for her title match.
But, like, they didn't play it as like, oh, is she gonna turn into a zombie? Like, they didn't play it like that. It's like, no, Abaddon's a woman. She's dressed like that, yes. She's creepy as fuck, yes. But she's just a woman, and she's biting Hikaru, and that in and of itself is fucking creepy. Which is, I think is a good way of taking it.
Yeah. But then after that, we get a few announcements from commentary. John Moxley is going to be back next week. That's very exciting.
Hell yeah.
And we are definitely, absolutely getting Shida versus Abaddon for the title. And Cody versus Matt Sydal will be happening in 2 weeks.
Hell yeah.
Interesting lineup.
Because I could definitely see Cody letting Matt Sydal be really, really flippy.
Yeah, I mean, like, he put the shine on... Wow, now I feel like an asshole because I can't remember who it was in that last match.
I don't remember Cody's last match. It's been a while.
Fucking teeth on the rope, trying to escape the boy.
Oh, yeah. Helico?
Yes, and Helico. And that's a very different style than his. And Matt Sydal is a very different style than his. So, you know, I think this is going to be another kind of thing of just like, Cody's in a holding pattern with Sting right now. So while he can't have his match with Sting, he's going to put the shine on some of the mid-carders.
Yeah, which is going to be good. But the main event for this evening was a title offense, right? With the Bucks versus the Acclaim. The Acclaim come out, bust some raps.
Fucking calling out the Young Bucks for quitting Twitter this year.
Oh yeah, that was great. And the Bucks come out. Oh god, my nose is starting to stuff up. So give me a second. Big match with a lot of stuff going on. But eventually Matt does pull out the win. No big major twist segment for the week. But yeah, solid little fucking main event segment.
Yeah. It was a really good match that really showed that the Acclaimed, you know, they're not quite on the Bucks' level. They tried to cheat to win, and it still didn't work, but they're a really solid tag team.
Yeah. And also shows that what they can do for the future, which is going to be good.
And also, it was nice to have a Dynamite that just ended with a solid match and no, like, big ending angle. It was just like, no, match is over. Bucks won. Good guys win. It's Christmas. Everybody go home happy.
Go home. Come back next year.
Yeah.
We'll do more shit then.
It was good. I liked it.
Yeah. It was good. Dynamite was good this week.
Yeah, it's solid. But it is our last show of the year because we're not going to be covering next week's Dynamite. We're going to be taking the week off because our normal episode would happen on New Year's Eve, and just rather be doing other stuff.
We don't work holidays. Everyone.
Yeah, that's a thing in Modular Media. We don't work holidays. We may put out something on the holidays, but it'll be pre-recorded.
Yeah.
So, since this is our last show of the year, I wanted to bring back something from back when we were doing this pre-recorded, and I figured we'd do our top 10 wrestling things of the year. Do you want me to start, or do you want to?
I want a preference that mine's not going to be like, it's just more of like 10 things I really enjoyed. Okay.
So I did put mine in order. I fought very hard about, like, did I like this a little more after that? Like, I'll just say right now, the top two, either one of them could have been number one, but it came down to a certain factor, and I'll explain that factor when I get to number one.
All right. Are we going to go back and forth, or do you just want to go through your list and then have me
Let's
struggle?
Go back and forth, man.
Okay, because that'll let me kind of...
Okay. Fuck it, I'll start. I've loved Eddie Kingston in AEW this year. Like, his presence in that company has just made the mid-card feel so much more interesting. He's constantly cutting these amazing promos. He's got a very different match style from everybody else due to his size. And it's just an interesting character that, like, I know a lot of people love from Impact back in the day, but I only really knew from brief little bits on NWA, so I was excited to see him for that connection. But like this is the year I fell in love with Eddie Kingston because he's doing some amazing work in AEW. From the moment he debuted forward, he was just instantly like the centerpiece of the heels in the mid card, and he's my number 10.
Yeah, I think him being in AEW basically made AEW have to step up their promo game. AEW's promos were pretty good before that, but after Eddie Kingston showed up, like, no, everybody's promo has to be at another level now. Like, they just have to.
Definitely.
Jeez, I didn't even think of a list. I was just gonna go top of my head.
You're doing the same thing you did last year.
Yes. Fuck me. I mean,
Yeah.
it's brilliant. Why not? Jeez. I haven't been able to think on much. It's mostly this past week. It's just been, what am I gonna eat? Okay.
Yeah, that's understandable.
I think the big, like, number 10, is AEW basically saying like, hey, we're in the games market now. We're doing games.
That's true. I didn't even really think about that because I'm thinking like more straight wrestling stuff. But you're right. That is cool how they just kind of jumped in there. And they're doing another game announcement stream on the 30th.
Or it sounded like it was doing a show. Like, they're just going to be having an online content show. Because it was called 2 Point Show.
Interesting.
I don't know. And that kind of stuff. But I'll just, real quick, just games in general in relation to wrestling. G4's coming back, and Xavier Woods going to be presenting on it.
That's interesting.
You have no connection with G4, do you?
I watched a few episodes of X-Play was their video game review show, right?
Yes.
So I caught that every once in a while as a kid, but I was never like into it. And like I only started watching it during like sort of its later days. And like I said, I only caught it every once in a while because that was back when I was still going to church every week, and I would go to Wednesday night youth group, and it was on at the same time as Wednesday night youth group. So it was like half the time I'd wriggle my way out of that just because I didn't want to go, and I'd end up watching X-Play for one reason or another.
Yeah. I mean, I loved G4 when I was growing up. They're coming back, and like they did a Thanksgiving special, and it's just like old school G4. It's hilarious.
Awesome.
Like, they didn't miss a step. All the people are interacting exactly the same way. And Adam Sessler released a review for Cyberpunk 2077.
Nice.
But yeah, Xavier Woods is going to be in it. So it's just like, for all the shit we can say about WWE 2K20, wrestling video games seem to have a very hopeful future.
Definitely.
Which is good. This is always a good thing.
So my number 9 is the first straight match on my list, and that is Hikarushito versus Nyla Rose for the AEW Women's title at Double or Nothing. That fucking match, man. That was just so much fun. One of like the all-time great women's matches in AEW so far. Just like the way they built that feud, and then like instant heat going into the match, and all the action on the outside, the destruction of some of the set and props they did, and just the fucking line, the line, "I found my kendo stick, bitch." That will live on forever as like Hikarushita's fucking catchphrase to me.
Yeah. That was good. That was a good moment. I think AEW, I think my number 9 is just how much AEW, like, the repeated AEW being able to make new stars. Or make new upcoming stars. Because we've been talking like, beginning of this year, Who the fuck is Will Hobbs? Who's the Acclaimed? Who's Top Flight? Who's any of these fuckers? Who's Jade Cargill? Who is Layla Hirsch? Who's any of them?
Yeah.
Who are any of these fuckers? But now, no, they're like, fuck yeah. These people, like, they have been consistently able to get smaller talent over. I mean, smaller as an unknown. And, like, that is, like, coming from WWE, where to see a person who, like, struggle to even get somewhat recognized versus now what feels like, oh yeah, no, it's like, it's not easy, but it's not impossible. You can get recognized for hard work. It feels nice. It's a nice sentiment of the year, especially
not even hard work, just like sheer talent.
Oh,
if you clearly have talent, we'll get behind you.
Oh yeah, and it's not necessarily like, oh, we'll just immediately put you in the main event. No, it's, hey, we see something in you. We want to put in the effort to help you. And you saw that, and you see that with Hobbs. You see that with most of Dark. Alan Angels, like, they saw something in Alan Angels. He was able to get that big a match with Kenny Omega, and they were like, there's something here. We don't have a major storyline. You're not going to be in the mid card. You're not going to be a singles act. You're going to be a faceless minion in this faction. But we want you. We believe in you, and we want you here with us. That is a beautiful, like, moment for this year, especially with the fact that not just wrestling, all employment has been very in flux, let's say, this year due to COVID, that I think AEW going full on, no, we want to support these more unknown talents, and we want to foster it, is a thing that should be understood, recognized, and applauded.
I mean, just that first episode of Dark from Jacksonville, I remember being struck by how much indie talent was on it, and like, I remember I tweeted out the Young Bucks helping indie talent put money in their wallets since however long BTE's been on YouTube.
But yeah, that's my number 9. It's just how much they've done there.
My number 8 is just a fantastic storyline we've had going on for the last few months. The return of the Cleaner.
Oh yeah.
Like, I know there are some people who will be like, what, you put that at number 8? But, like, I'm not as invested as the Cleaner. I'm not as preordained to be invested in the Cleaner as most people is, because I don't know New Japan all that well. But, like, this got me interested in the Cleaner. This got the Cleaner gimmick over to me. This got me to be, every week, to be like, what is Justin Roberts going to say during Kenny's entrance this week? That was a big thing for the last couple months. And, you know,
I think my number 8 would be similar. Would be just the sheer fact that Kenny Omega appeared on an episode of Impact and doubled, tripled their viewing numbers. Like, that was an impactful moment. Like, that's a moment that can't be taken back. That is weird and wonky, but, like, goddamn, that is a moment that has to be 2020 of, like, oh yeah, by the way, Impact is suddenly relevant again.
My number 7 is gonna be and again, this is something that people are gonna kind of squint at, the TNT title. I think everything that has happened with the TNT title since that initial tournament to crown the first champion has been, at the very least, cool and interesting.
Yeah.
Because you had that whole tournament that was right at the beginning of the COVID lockdown era. Like, most of those matches happened in that small setup they had in Georgia, so they felt a lot more frantic and a lot a lot more high stakes, weirdly enough. And then the match with Cody winning the championship for the first time at Double or Nothing was great. His run of just like having a match every week and highlighting all these great talents and bringing in all these indie stars, like, dude, Warhorse was on network television this year. That's amazing. And then like it's bittersweet to talk about it now, but Brody Lee had a great little run with the championship. And then that dog collar match with Cody was a fucking banger.
Yep.
And now Darby's got the belt, and he's just doing, like, he hasn't had a lot of defenses yet, but what he's doing with it, just hanging out in the rafters with it, like, I've got my prize. I don't need to mess around too much. Sting, what are you doing? What are you doing here, Sting? Sting, what are you doing?
Who's this old man that looks like me?
Mm-hmm. And I'll say it again. I think the belt looks good. I like the design. Yeah. I like the Ted Turner's house is on the side plates. I don't care. It's cool.
I think a lot of people started liking the belt more when they had the second iteration of
when
it.
They did the gold inlay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what? No, my next moment is FTR versus Young Bucks.
So, and this is something that would probably piss a lot of people off. It's not even on my list.
But like, it was everything that you kind of would have wanted in the match, but also it definitely feels like they want to do more.
Mm-hmm.
It was,
and that's the reason it's not on my list. Like, it's a dream match, but it wasn't tag feud of the year to me.
Oh no, it wasn't the feud of the year. This wasn't the match of a long running feud, which is what they need, which is what they're probably building up to eventually. This was a match of, we are finally in the same place in the same time. Let's just do it. Yeah. You know, that kind of thing. Because this is a match that's been years in the making, basically not because fuck you, but because we're the best. You're kind of the best. We just need to wrestle once. We need to do this. And now that they've done it, it's all right. Fuck you and the horse you ride in on. Give us our belts back.
Yeah.
Which is everything before that is not prologue. You thought, oh, that was the feud. That was the build-up. No, that's a prologue. We're now in chapter 1 of the FTR versus Bucks feud. Which is interesting.
So my number 6 is the best WWE pay-per-view of the year, the Royal Rumble. I fucking loved this year's Royal Rumble. I thought it was a great pay-per-view. Fiend versus Daniel Bryan strap match was awesome. Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin Falls Count Anywhere was surprisingly amazing. Like, one of the best openers to a pay-per-view I've ever seen. The Women's Rumble was solid. It wasn't the best Rumble ever, but it was solid. Lacey Evans versus Bayley for the title, like, wasn't a barn burner, but it was a solid filler match. And then the Men's Royal Rumble, like, dude, fucking Brock Lesnar at number 1, and the story is just he keeps knocking out guys over and over again until Drew McIntyre and Ricochet come in and they double team his ass and get him out of there. And then Drew McIntyre goes and wins it, and it's like the pop of the year in every fucking place that it was viewed. I mean, like, we've all seen that clip of the bar in Scotland of people reacting to it. And like, I watched this pay-per-view in a bar. I went to a local bar because this was pre-COVID. This was like a month or two before COVID. I went and watched it in a bar with a bunch of other WWE fans. And it was like the most loud, raucous, wonderful thing ever. I had a great time watching this pay-per-view.
Yeah. Also, for lack of a better way to put it, Drew's been probably one of the highlights of WWE.
Yeah,
as a performer.
I haven't been watching enough of his championship run, but from what I hear, it probably would have been on my list had I been watching it.
But my 6 It's just introducing Will Hobbs to us separately, just as Will Hobbs,
Yeah,
because genuinely he feels like one of the biggest fucking presences on AEW right now.
he's a great talent, and he's gonna go places.
Yeah, like you can definitely feel like they're going like, we have something with him. We need to build it, and they know exactly what they're doing because they put him with two of the best talkers in the fucking locker room, and one of the best big beefy boys.
Hmm.
Because they have Taz connected to him, they have Ricky Starks, and they have Brian Cage, and they also have Hook. But I have a feeling Hook.
And who the hell knows what's gonna happen with Hook? Hook's just there right now. Anything could happen with Hook. It's exciting.
I love how he's just there though, and Taz is going like, "Yeah, no, there's four of them. There's four people who can whip your ass here."
Mhm.
And you don't know if he's talking about himself or Hook. It's funny, but like no, Will Hobbs, because like he was one of the best baby faces, and then he became one of the best fucking heels
Overnight.
overnight. It was like that heel turn, perfect because it made everything made sense. It was great. It was good classic. It was one of those good classic. Oh no, they turned their back on everyone. Heel turns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my number 5 is the tag feud of the year, in my opinion. Best Friends versus Proud and Powerful. Because remember, that happened that year.
Oh yeah.
And just like the Best Friends feud we were talking about earlier, it was the feud that kind of held the mid card together for a little while because it was built around Sue's band, and like fuck Santana and Ortiz were fucking up Sue's band, and then we got that the parking lot fight, man.
Oh
Like y'all can have FTR versus Young Bucks. For me, parking lot fight was tag match of the year. That was just good knockout, drag down. We fucking hate each other. We're finishing this in the most bloody, fuck each other up way possible.
Is it really tag match of the year? Because remember, Kenny Omega versus Hangman versus the Kenny Omega and Hangman versus the Bucks also happened this year.
That was the before times. That doesn't count.
Well, if I remember right, was that this year? I can't remember. It was
at
Revolution.
That might have. It was at Revolution. I don't remember if it was probably like right before COVID.
It was right before COVID, but it's been COVID has just fucked with a lot of people's sense of time.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of people talking about that online too. Like me and you, we're at the age where suddenly your perception of time starts speeding up.
Because remember, at Revolution, February this year was Dark Order versus SoCal Uncensored, Jake Hager versus Dustin Rhodes by submission, Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara, Kenny Omega and Adam Page versus the Bucks, Nyla Rose versus Chris Statlander, MJF versus Cody. That was that match.
Whoa.
Yeah. Moxley versus Jericho. That's when he became champ.
Mm-hmm.
And Pac versus Orange Cassidy.
Man, Pac versus Orange Cassidy was this year.
Yeah. Which is my number 5. Pac versus Cassidy.
That was a great match.
Because it was also like it was old school Orange Cassidy. It was before they've basically, I don't want to say completely rewritten his character. They've given his character more nuance.
They evolved his character.
Yeah. It's still Orange Cassidy, but yeah, Pac versus Cassidy, which also just really showed Pac as a versatile player within AEW, as he can be a really good straight man to comedy-esque characters.
Mm-hmm. And like that moment in the ring after Cassidy rolling away so many times that they just start laughing.
Yeah, it's just fun. It's just good. It was a good moment. That's my number 5.
Okay. Well, my number 4 is the Dark Order on BT. Because nothing this year, in terms of wrestling comedy, has brought a smile to my face more consistently than the Dark Order on BT. Like, legitimately, the joke became after a while that it's no longer being the Elite, it's being the Dark Order, because they've just taken over the show. They are the heart and soul of that show right now. And I fucking love it. Just seeing those goofy goofs mess around trying to get Hangman to join or getting yelled at by Brody Lee is is good stuff. And Johnny Hungy and all that. What a time to be alive.
Oh yeah, very much so. I know what my number 4 is.
What's up?
Firefly Funhouse.
I wouldn't put that at number 4, but that should be on your list.
Dude, like, outside of the context of WWE, take it out of WWE. It is probably one of the best deconstructions and takedowns of John Cena as a character ever.
Dude, it's a video essay on the toxic aspects of wrestling in general.
Yeah, and if it was any other company and that segment was in it, it would completely redefine the company. They'd be in a new direction. It'd be a takedown. It'd basically be a checklist of everything they did wrong and they avoided. WWE, they didn't. But ultimately, that segment is probably one of the most important cinematic matches we have ever had.
It is the cinematic match. It was match of the night, a match of both nights at Mania.
Yeah, like they tried to do 2 cinematic matches: Firefly Funhouse and the Boneyard match. Boneyard match was a typical classic. How we've come to understand a cinematic wrestling match.
It was fun. It was fine.
Firefly Funhouse went in there and went, all right, we want to say something, and they said shit.
Mm-hmm.
They did stuff. And despite it being in WWE, it needs to be recognized.
Definitely. So my number 3 is Sting's return.
Okay.
Because honestly,
it's Sting.
What moment shook wrestling as an industry more this year? Like, ignoring COVID, what moment shook wrestling as an industry more this year than just Sting is back on TNT?
Sting is back on TNT and Tony Schiavone is yelling his name.
Mm-hmm. Like, we have a regular at my work who's a big WCW fan from back in the day. And I remember he came in like a day or two after it happened. And I was like, so you like WCW, huh? And he's like, yeah. I think I have something to show you. And then he was like, oh, I've seen it. I saw it on the night. Like 5 people texted me. And yes, I am watching tonight.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. No, that's fucking... yeah. No, what? Fuck it. I want to be lazy. That's my number 3 too.
Okay. Well, as I said, my number 1 and number 2 are kind of interchangeable because they're both very similar things. They're both things I like a whole lot, and they're things that we watched together for the first time, and I enjoy because I have that memory. But really, their placement comes down to how many times have I rewatched each of them on my own. And with my number 2, I've watched it 3 times. I watched it the first time with you, and then I've watched it 2 more times since, and it's the Stadium Stampede. Fucking just such an amazing, fun, wacky, out there. It's hard to even call it a match. It's just like, here's a bunch of wrestlers in a space doing goofy shit.
It's a BT. Awesome. It's a match through the lens of BTE.
Yes.
Because ultimately, that's what BTE is, a sketch show starring wrestlers. This is basically the Muppet Show starring Chris Jericho.
Yeah, fucking Chris Jericho arguing about a fucking ref call and going, "You're a shitty referee." Sammy Guevara getting locomotion Northern Light suplexed across a football field. Matt Hardy fucking changing gimmicks in a hot tub,
The
and
Barfs fight.
or Ortiz going, "I can't swim" when it's a waist deep pool. Uh,
The bar fight was great. The culminate, like, the solidification of Omega and Hangman as a team.
Hangman chasing Sammy Guevara down on a horse.
Oh yeah, the continued running gag of Sammy Guevara getting run over shit.
Yeah,
That's always a great bit.
uh,
And the Stadium Stampede's fucking fantastic. And kind of on a similar note, I think my number one's gonna be very, very personal. Like, I don't think it's gonna be a ton of people's number one, but number two, I think, is probably what most people would say would be number one. It's just the general storyline of Hangman. His rise, his fall. It's just. It is a very nuanced and well-told story, irregardless of the fact that it's in wrestling.
like, dude, I wanted it on my list so bad, and it hurt that I couldn't find a spot for it over anything else.
I think that's kind of the benefit of, like, doing it off the cuff, is just like, I don't have to think and agonize. I just immediately go, here's my gut.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Hangman. Here's the thing. Most people will probably go like, "Oh no, it's number one," because Hangman, like, that. That was the framework everybody discussed wrestling in for this year. It's like, Hangman and his storyline. It's like, okay,
Look at Hangman where he is now compared to where he was a year ago.
That, but also, like, oh hey, Drew's pretty cool, but is he as good as the Hangman storyline?
Mm-hmm.
Oh hey, you know what's the two best storylines going in wrestling right now? The Tribal Chief and the Hangman storyline. Like, the Hangman storyline completely. Because here's the thing, it didn't overtake AEW, and unless their hands, it could have just been. AEW would have become, where's Hangman? When people aren't on screen, they should be asking, where's Hangman? It could have become that. Because it was a popular storyline. It was doing well. But the Hangman storyline became the framework of which AEW kind of referenced itself against. You know what I mean? It like, because of the Hangman storyline, FTR and the Bucks had different nuances. Because of the Hangman storyline, the Cleaner feels completely different. Mm-hmm. Because of the Hangman storyline, the Dark Order is the Dark Order right now.
Yeah.
Because even ignoring the fact that they're trying to recruit him now, the fact that he has gone through this arc reflects on the Dark Order. Like, without Hangman's Dark
remember, he sent a letter in. There was a segment way back when of Brody Lee flipping out because Hangman was like, "Oh, hey, Brody Lee, Dark Order, cool, yeah, man, I almost joined, but, you know, I'm better now. I'm in a better place now. Have a good day." And Brody Lee's just like, "Are you fucking kidding me? We could have had Hangman." And he goes in and starts screaming at Evil Uno.
But because of Hangman, Chris Jericho feels like there is nuance in AEW because of Hangman's storyline.
He's the sounding board.
He's the sounding board. He reflects. It's the fucking Secret Wars of AEW. I mean, the old school Secret Wars, like, where, like, so many people were part of it and in it, and it affects so many different people. Infinity Gauntlet. Infinity Gauntlet's a better one.
Yeah.
Because, like, not everyone is directly affected by it, but everyone's changed because of it. Mm-hmm. Some people are in the middle. Some people are like Hangman Adam Page, being Captain America facing off against Thanos. While some people are like Sleepwalker, who just has his friend disappear, and he has a one comic issue where it's like, what the fuck's going on? Some people have that going on. But Hangman's the center of the tent. He's not the focus all the time, but he is there keeping a lot of things propped up.
That's fair. And that is a really good argument. But as I said, I already decided my number one. And it's based off of the fact that it is a match that I really enjoyed watching with you. And it's a match that I've not only rewatched more than anything else in wrestling this year, but it's a match that I've rewatched more than anything in wrestling, period. Because I have watched this match 36 times. The Firefly Funhouse match is my number one.
Oh. That's where you were going, like, oh, it's a weird place to put it.
Yeah. Like, it's weird because it's like, what can you say about this match that hasn't already been said or dissected or gone through? It's just such a perfect, like, indictment of the WWE system and the way it's been since the 80s.
Spoken
through the lens of John Cena.
Through the lens of John Cena, but also spoken through the language of WWE.
Yeah.
Like, WWE has a big thing of, like, big, blatant metaphors that the people in charge of WWE don't really pay attention to.
And like, this is one of the few things I've ever heard where they literally just let the talent run wild with their ideas. Because apparently at first they were trying to get in there and be like, well, this might be John Cena's last match. We gotta make sure it's perfect and fine. And then John Cena was like, no, guys, back the fuck off. Let Bray do whatever he wants to do because he's got great ideas. And
for all the shit people can ever say about John Cena, I think John Cena now is willing to collaborate a lot more than John Cena then.
Mm-hmm. And like, just hearing that this was purely Bray's vision, man, if I am ever at half the level of a storyteller that Bray Wyatt is at now, I will have achieved my potential and then some.
Yeah, no, like Firefly Funhouse. It's one of those things of what could have been, like what could have done to like build off of it that they never did.
And like, as much as people shit on Titus immediately afterwards, going, "I don't know what I just saw. Here's the main event." Like, that's a perfect surrogate for WWE's reaction to that match.
Oh yeah. Yeah. My number one's gonna be a lot less impressive and kind of overarching. My number one is just the cementing of Orange Cassidy as not just a gag, not a gag. He's not a gag. He's a wrestler with a fun and unique character, and basically him and AEW working together and proving everybody wrong. You know? Because Orange Cassidy's just fucking great. He's my boy.
He is the boy.
He is the AEW boy. Because, goddamn it, if Aleister Black ever shows up in AEW, I'm gonna have some troubles trying to pick a number one boy. Because it's a weird thing to think.
Good news for you, because Aleister Black's never going to be in AEW, but Tommy End might.
Oh yeah, Tommy End. Even then, who?
Yeah.
Dude. But yeah, Orange Cassidy, because he had the Pac match, which was great,
mm-hmm.
and then he had the fucking Jericho feud.
Yeah, and the Mimosa Mayhem match, the match that all of us were like, "Oh, this is just a stupid gimmick. This feud's worn out its welcome. It's gonna suck." And then it was like one of the best matches on that show.
Yeah, and it's a gimmick match that you go like, they can change this up, and it'd be grand. It'd be a fun, unique twist on a match. But like now, Orange Cassidy is probably one of their most reliable upper mid carders.
Yeah.
That they go like, and here's the thing, for a little bit people were going like, they're kind of overusing Orange Cassidy. No, they're not. They know exactly how much to use Orange Cassidy. They know the exact right level. He shows up every once in a while, gets a cameo, and does a cool thing every once a month. Like, that's the perfect amount of Orange Cassidy.
And eventually, like once or twice a year, somebody gets really pissed off at him and goes, "You're ruining the business. Let's have a feud for free matches."
Or there's so much potential with Orange Cassidy now that they've built him up. It's great. Like, it's just fun. I love, because that also just shows that AEW is totally willing just to get behind whatever is getting over. Because, like, I hate to put it this way, WWE, if they had Orange Cassidy and they saw, oh, he's gotten over, they would have done nothing with him. They would have just kept using him the exact same way.
Dude, he'd be chasing after the 24/7 title, and you know it.
Oh, yeah, no. He'd be doing that, but, like, that's the thing. But AEW saw him and went, like, no, people are enjoying him. They liked him on the independent scene. There's something here. And it feels like they talked with Cassidy and it was like, we want to use you. What ideas do you have? And then Jericho says, like, I want to work with this guy. And they figured out what the storyline is. They figured out what to do with Orange Cassidy. So yeah, Orange Cassidy, number 1.
Yep. And as a final nod to WWE, as I'm not going to be watching anything new from them next year, Firefly Funhouse, number 1, because you know what? They may have killed off any hope I have for the future of the Bray Wyatt Firefly Funhouse Fiend character this week, but like that fucking those initial episodes of Firefly Funhouse leading up to his first match at SummerSlam last year, and then the Funhouse match this year. Fucking just top tier shit.
Banging. Yeah, that was wrestling for this year.
It has been a crazy year for wrestling because, like, in kind of a scummy way because of the whole fucking McMahon family paying off Florida, but like, wrestling survived through something that could have easily killed the entire industry.
Very easily could have killed the entire industry. But instead it feels like it's kind of had a moment to reflect on itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, AEW has now at one point in time, had more shows without an audience than it had with.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, like, people have had to figure out, like, if we don't have the audience, then how do we get people over? How do we know people are getting over? And they've had to lean more into social media, and they've had to figure stuff out for distribution and booking. And
speaking of social media, that's the whole reason John Silver's gotten over. It's because he has been a major presence on the social media side, and people have just really responded to him. And now that they have a crowd, they're responding in live.
Yeah. And like, it's so interesting to see how wrestling has survived in spite of COVID. And it, like I said, it could have very easily died. I mean, just look at another genre niche thing. Comic books almost fucking died this year because stores couldn't stay closed for more than a month or the industry was going to crash.
Yeah. And comics is just a fucking... I haven't been...
it's as much of a crapshoot as wrestling.
Yeah. Though there has been some dope shit with comics as of late.
Mm-hmm. And like, your horse is coming back next year.
What? You cut out for a second.
I said your horse boy is coming back next year.
Oh yeah, beta Ray Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. But the Jonathan Hickman's X series has been fucking fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy Metals. I just noticed Heavy Metal started doing a bunch of new shit.
Yeah. Tom King's Batman wrapped up this year, and that was a fantastic run. Like, say what you will about Bendis, I hear nothing but good things about his Superman from the people who are reading it.
And then we also have Fucking Venom and Donny Cates just fucking Donny Cates and Hickman are redefining Marvel.
Yeah. And then you've got Zeb Wells doing like what's been called the best Daredevil run since Bendis. And he also did an Ant-Man mini that I just picked up in trade and I'm very excited to read because Ant-Man's like one of my favorite Marvel characters.
And even some of the lesser Marvel books have been doing pretty good. Like the Fantastic Four done by
Yeah, the FF are
Slott.
back. That happened right at the end of last year and went into this year.
Yeah, but Dan Slott's FF has been pretty solid. Spencer's Spider-Man has been pretty solid. They're doing some dope shit with Harry Osborn and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, comics. I wouldn't say is coming out of COVID better. I think wrestling's going to come out of COVID, not necessarily in a better place, but with better understanding of storyline, the wrestlers themselves. Like, COVID basically made wrestling take a look at itself and go, like, how can we improve?
And remember what we were saying before COVID with wrestling. We were saying we're on the verge of another boom. And then when COVID first happened, we said, okay, this sucks. But when we come back from COVID, everybody's going to be over as fuck.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like that moment is still on the horizon. I think if certain promotions play things right, when AEW starts touring again, when WWE starts touring again, there is still a chance that new boom could happen.
Oh, yeah. Especially considering just how the ratings have been for AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have... Hold on.
You're okay.
They haven't cracked 1 million a ton of times, but they have been super consistent in being one of the most highly watched things in Target demos week to week.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, wrestling I wouldn't say survived, but they did kind of... No, they didn't thrive, but they survived, and they harshened up. They're coming out of the wilderness with a full beard and a fucking knife, ready to slit the world's throat. But on that note, tell the people who you are and where they can find you.
Hi everybody, I'm the Vacuuminator. I'm a YouTuber who's been doing this fucking shit for 8 years now. Holy crap, I passed that threshold a couple weeks ago. Not the best thing to think about, but like, hey, I do make videos. They are stuff and you can watch. I've got another video on the horizon very soon. I'm working on the rough cut of it. I'm actually planning to stay up tonight until the rough cut is done. And then I'm going to get as close as I can to a final cut tomorrow. Or possibly also flowing into tomorrow if I don't get to sleep at all. We'll see what happens. But that's going to be What If Megaforce Was Good? A rewrite of Power Rangers Megaforce, which I consider to be the worst season of Power Rangers. I did an entire 10-part series dissecting why I thought it was the worst part. And because I'm a psychopath, I'm coming back like 4 years later and going, and another thing, here's how I would have done it. So if you want to see that, go subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/thevacuuminator, spelled TheVacuuminator. You can also follow me on social media for updates on that. I'm on Twitter at @thevacuuminator and on Instagram at @the_vacuuminator.
Alrighty. Hey, howdy. My name is Chris Boingo Writer Gaston. I make video essay and editorial-esque content on the YouTube. Haven't really made a video lately because I've been working on Dream Johnny, which is a video game we've been making where you date John Silver from AEW, which is going to be releasing January 1st. Just a reminder. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Boingo_writer, and as always, you can join my Discord server. A link to that is in the description. We talk about a bunch of shit. It's mostly me, Vac, our other co-host, Snowcone, also known as Cody. And a friend of the channel, Buster. Buster's in the
Mm-hmm.
server. Old friend of mine. He pops in every once in a while. But yeah, come in, talk. We talk about movies. We talk about music. We talk about video games, toys. Yeah, it's a fun, grand old time. First of this year, after Dream Johnny is out, I'm basically I'm starting season 2 of Boingo Rider.
Yeah.
Brand new videos. I'm gonna try and aim for one every other week, because I have the time to do it. I have a feeling I have a responsibility to my fellow members of Modular Media that I need to be the content. I need to be the content fucking king for us.
You're the best. You are the best vid machine, and it's time to start proving it again.
Yeah, like I got a pitch for a trailer for my content, and I'm gonna give it to you after we're done with this. Because boy,
I got some stuff to pitch too. Let's have a little pitch party after.
oh yeah. Okay, but yeah, no, this has been Modular Media Wrestling Podcast. I'm glad to be doing this live. I'm glad to be doing this because it was dragging down. It was dragging down analytical fanboys there for a bit.
Yeah.
We were not making the best podcast having to talk about wrestling in the middle of it.
Yeah, it was certainly interesting. Just like having Snowcone disappear for 40 minutes at a time.
No, the podcast flow is 10 times better now.
Yeah.
Speaking of podcasts, you can always go and watch our Mando cast, where we talked about season 1 and season 2 of The Mandalorian, as well as the season finale.
We gushed.
Well, we had to talk because I had to catch up to all of Mandalorian, so I was having to basically make up 2 years of conversations. No, 1 year of conversation with these guys that we could have been having the whole time. Well, partially.
Yeah, because the thing on, a little behind the scenes, the thing on, and this is the wrong time to say this, but fuck it. On Analytical Fanboys for the last few weeks with Mandalorian Season 2, it's been like, Snowcone and I would get in the call an hour early just so we could talk about Mandalorian and not spoil Boingo.
Yeah. But you can go watch that whole thing. Next week, we're going to be having an episode on I Love You Man, the classic comedy film.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. Any final thoughts for the year you want to get out in this live format?
What an insane fucking year it's been, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you say about 2020 that hasn't already been said?
Yep. Other than, god damn it.
It's been a long December. I forget the next line, but maybe this year will be better than the last.
Let's hope.